Hello, Ben here from Supercoach Insider, calling Chris because that's how desperate we are to get this content to you. Chris, you're at the airport, I believe. How are you, my man?
I am, mate. No rest for the wicked, buddy. Thanks for dialing in. I had planned to just do a bit of a recording at the airport and rocked up, and somehow I left my laptop charger lying somewhere in Melbourne. So if anyone has a Dell laptop charger that just happens to be lying around, feel free to send it on up. But of course, that means that I couldn't record a proper team thing. So thank you very much for jumping on, buddy.
Jeez, it's like Dell, but you couldn't leave it because you couldn't believe it, but you did leave your Dell. You couldn't leave it.
That's fucking terrible for you.
That's fucking horrible.
You've had some bad ones, but that was pretty bad.
And cheers, mate. You're at the airport. I'm having a twisted palm here, mate. So what are you having?
Oh, I'm on the goats, the old mountain goats goat, the very enjoyable beer. I actually got bumped up to business class randomly, so I'm sitting in the Virgin Lounge. I got about 45 minutes to kill until I get on the plane and drink some more beer. So looking forward to. I'm heading to Adelaide, so I don't know if anyone's out tomorrow night. I'm going to be on in Rundle Mall somewhere, just creating a ruckus because why not?
Jeez, mate, you have enough beers on that flight and everyone in Adelaide will look like your cousin. So, anyway, let's digress. Talk about your team, Chris. What are you thinking for this week coming? What are your plans and how are you approaching?
Well, I had a pretty good week one. I ended up with 2390. So I was pretty stoked with that, which ranks me 3,737. Had some good scores, had some shit scores, and there's some. I think structurally though, I feel like I've got it right. Out of the rookies that really hit off, the only one I really don't have is Nick Martin, who's now got COVID. So I don't necessarily need to even bring that guy in. But
talk about winning.
Yeah, so which was sort of really helps this week because I was actually thinking that if I was going to trade anyone this week, that's probably a must get, and he's probably the one with the most job security. So I thought, well, bring him in this week, and then I can potentially make moves next week. But it just sort of buys you that extra week of data, where now I don't have to. And I suppose starting at the back, I actually went in with Chris over Lloyd anyway. I wasn't actually planning on bringing Lloyd in, but I went with Chris, and that was a little bit disappointing. But I think we've chatted quite a bit, and like his role was there. He just really sucked.
Yeah, he couldn't get a handball receive, and it kept kind of going over him a little bit. But I think that'll be better. And after his missus made a talk this week, I call it talk because I fucking hate TikTok. So there you go.
I love TikTok. I'm obsessed.
I don't even have an account.
We should do a Supercoach Insider TikTok. We should do.
I do not have an account of TokTok, so that shows how old I am. Zero fucks given.
Get the fans out there to let them know if you want us to make a TikTok. We should totally fucking do it.
You go right ahead, my man. Okay, so you've gone for a 5-deep defensive line with McCartan, De Koning and O'Driscoll as your loop.
Right. So, I mean, obviously what that means straight off the bat this week is with De Koning knocked out, it means I've got no subs on the bench, but it does mean I've got heaps of loop options. So I suppose that's a positive. By the way, Virgin Australia is announcing a flight. The five at the back I think worked well, outside the fact that most premiums in defence sucked, the big one. So the other one I had was Luke Ryan, who got a 70. The other one is Lockie Whitfield, of course, 73. And then I had Jaden Short, which he scored the most and probably played the worst out of the bunch of them. So hoping we see a return to form from those guys because that will really set me apart. But obviously, the biggest thing with my structure is, and most people's structure, I think, is they're going two premiums in attack, and I'm going, instead of the third in attack, I've gone deep with, I think Cherry is my F6, which it is, yeah. So when I'm looking at teams that have like Heaney or DeGoey at at F3, I'm thinking, well, realistically, I'm going, Hewitt and Cherry versus DeGoey and Gibcus. And I think long term, I think that's a much better strategy. But we'll see how that all works out in a few weeks, I guess. Midfield, everyone popped off, which was really what set me apart. So I had McRae, Took, Neil, Cripps, Rao. I do have Berry, and I think all reports is he's going to be playing this week, so I don't have any plans on trading him or anything like that. I need another week to really establish what's going to happen there. But I think regardless, he makes money.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Yeah. The one disappointing one on my field was obviously Josh Ward, and I've got the feeling, dude, I have this feeling the week that I don't have him on field, he's just going to pop off, and I'm going to hate my life.
Well, Owens probably won't get named, mate, so you might even have a nice little loop this week there too. So
that'd be nice.
It might
be nice if I could loop someone, yeah.
Well, so, just like St Kilda, he will be Owens 2 because Owens only got a fucking 2 last week, so...
Yeah, so obviously I do have Owens on the bench, and so that's who I was planning on trading to Nick Martin. I think that's the most obvious trade.
You know what's so funny? Points per minute, Owens is 0.0. Not even 0.1 point per minute. So he played quite a large amount of time on ground for 2 Supercoach, and his points per minute is 0.0.
That's so shitty. I feel so bad for him because he's actually, you know what's shit though? He actually, like for his, like in the preseason, obviously, he was one of the highest points per minute rookies that were available. He comes in, he only plays 49% time on ground. So he played low time on ground. He actually only got, I think he got 6 disposals, but he had some clearances out of that. He had some contested possessions, etc. Like his actual game, if he didn't hit the clangers, wasn't too bad. It was probably a 25 on a normal day. But for 49% time on ground or whatever, he could have hit a 50 on a normal day.
Mate, so, he's got 2 first names. He's shit, and you've already wasted a minute on someone that's shit, and we'll get traded. So
we'll see. If he's I'm actually partially. I'm not going to trade this week if he gets named. I'll give him another week.
Of course not. Now you followed me in with English, huh?
I did. Well, I'll follow, mate. You followed me, mate. Oh, I'm the trendsetter of this group.
Hey, excuse me. And you followed me on Crips. Chris, you're really trying to sell the fact that you're at an airport. Can you just stop with the sound effects now, please, mate?
I'll contact the Virgin Lounge and tell them to shut the fuck up. I'm trying to podcast here.
I'm trying to pleasure you. Podcast away, Chris. Podcast away.
Podcast away. That's so good. So yeah, obviously I had Hayes locked at R3 for the weekend, so that was fun. I also have Dixon. So this week I am looking to play Hayes on field. I'll probably play him at F6 because my forward line is Dunkley, Butters, Coniglio, Brody at Cherry, and Rochelle at the moment.
Yep.
And I think Rochelle, obviously, don't get me wrong, 118, awesome. He's just not going to kick 5 goals every week, right? So I can't see that type of score. I can see the role that Hayes is playing right now could generate 80-plus scores frequently without having to kick that many goals. I just think that Rochelle's probably more likely or more prone to a sub-50 score than Hayes is, and that's why I think I'm probably going to play him on field this week as opposed to Rochelle. Was it Rochelle? I don't even know.
I think it's Rochelle, but even then Rochelle played a lot. It's still even very deep forward. That kind of led up a little bit, but didn't really leave the inside 50 much. So good opportunity to kick goals once it's in there. But, the potential, the fluctuations will be there for sure. Yeah.
And the goals he kicked were so important in the game. I reckon the scale of points per goal and points per possession would have been off the charts for him. So,
yep,
look, I think he's a great selection. I'm glad that I got him. But, I don't think he's going to be one that's going to kick that ton very often. So, the other one is Kai Baldwin, who I think could potentially be a lot better this week if he actually gets any type of service at all into the forward line. So I'm not keen to really just get rid of him or get off that train just yet either.
Well, I do hear the Baldwin Eagle does like to be serviced, so maybe he will have a bit of a go this week. And also, the Dons are already facing quite a few injuries, so Martin's security is now astronomical. And I think Baldwin could actually survive because we assume Stringer in him would be first out, but he might actually get another gig now. So we'll see.
Well, I think Baldwin was already quite secured because Harry Jones was obviously the key injury that allowed him to play. But then with Langford going down, that's really secured up Nick Martin until COVID. And I heard that there was a Bombers, another debutant that's coming through today. So heard it was the Wanganeen kid potentially. So
yes,
I mean, great to have another rookie, but I don't know what his JS is like, and you can't.
He's expensive too. He's like 169,000 defender or something, so he's not cheap.
Yeah, Kruger also got named today to play. So Pies has said that he's coming in for Mason Cox, who's out. So there's more rookies coming. which is great, but also bad.
Yeah, well,
depending on how you look at it.
I'm waiting to have a look. I think team's announced in about 10 minutes, so I'll have a bit of a look and do a bit of a pod at that point. And what you're saying, Bruce doesn't seem like he'll be named, which will hurt me a lot.
Yeah, I heard on the grapevine that Bruce may not be named this week, so that sucks for anyone
he was the reason why I couldn't actually fit another premium in. So which I didn't realise because I had him already. But I had English on as the emergency, and when I should have just had him on field. Do you know what I mean? Like an idiot, but I was trying to create that loophole, and in the end, I just kind of blocked myself into having him, and I couldn't really work my way around that, unfortunately. So, so it's one of those things. But hey,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Correction trade looks like it might be looming. It looks VC and C this week, Chris. What are you thinking?
I was actually leaning towards Neil VC and Took C, and look, that was before. There's a bit of conjecture here that first of all, Bailey Smith's already not playing, of course, and now Bont may be laid out. There's talk of that. Now we obviously know that he was coming back from a bit of a knock. I think it was an ankle, and 6-day break. He just may not have came up with it. And look, if that is the case, that's a lot of points going begging in the Bulldogs midfield. Now, Libba probably takes up a considerable chunk of that, I'd say.
Yeah, same. Him and Dunkley have the best scope to cash in, let's put it that way. And Liberatore might get obviously a better role this week, and he was horrible last week, so that's a good one there. And Neil for me as well is also very tempting because he has gone massive the last 3 times against the Bombers. Just towels them up. Bombers don't tag.
Yeah.
Racks them.
Well, the thing that's got me is that with all these early Bulldog games and against opposition that generally speaking aren't the best, Carlton, of course, I'm not sure. It'll be such an interesting game because you've got 2 midfields going up that are coached by the same guy. So, obviously the Bulldogs midfield was coached by the current Carlton midfield coach. So it's going to be an interesting game midfield wise. And how the points are spread and how they act offensively around that stoppage is going to be super interesting and something I really want to watch. So from my perspective, if you want to try and get an edge up, I think the players to fade the VC of McRae and Dunkley. Hope that neither of them go bangers. They hit around 120, 130, forces people to take that VC because I believe that Neil's the best option this week. So therefore, if you've got Took, you've got a great backup. So I think personally, I'm going to go VC Neil. Hope that that the Dunks and McRae go that 120, 130. Don't go that huge score. Force people to take the VC early so that I can cash in on a 145, 150, 160 from Neil. That's the hope. And worst case scenario, Took's got back up on the who are Gold Coast playing this week? Someone shit.
The Premiers this week, Chris.
So just Melbourne?
Yeah, just Melbourne.
Oh yeah, sweet. So yeah, he'll clean up.
It'll be Took versus Petrarca, and it'll be Rao versus Clary. It'll be the battle of the Rangers and the battle of the in and unders. So,
honestly, that is just mouth-watering.
I know, right?
That is legit. That could be the best midfield battle of the season.
Yeah, but check in Saturday night for that one. Yeah, no, I agree. And Took's very reliable there as well. For me, I probably might even just take the McRae one just because of the bit of up and under. I might even just go VC McRae. Dunkley does tempt me because he's towed up the Blues before with a nice 170 or 200. His contested ball could be next level. So I don't know. It is, but for me, at the moment I have Neil VC and Took I think as captain. But if there are laid outs, I'll probably swing that a little bit differently. So
it'll be interesting to see if they opt to tag tonight. And Hewitt goes for a lockdown role because that's going to be
Kernow's out, so it won't be him.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got the option to do that with Hewitt, and he's not has not so far done that. But obviously, with the strength of the Bulldogs midfield, I'm really looking forward to seeing if they're going to use him in that role. Because if they do, then that's a red flag. But if they don't, it's a huge green light. So a big test tonight for Hewitt, and I'm looking forward to that game. Well, in terms of what I'm doing, I'm obviously not going to be. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be making any trades this week, but I had looked at bringing in Lipinski. I just personally, I definitely don't think he's a keeper. I think he's someone that maybe averages 90 to 100. That 133 is an abnormal score in my opinion. I don't think that he's definitely not the number one mid, not for CBAs at Collingwood. He had a very good game, and I loved what I saw. Trust me, as a Pies fan, it was amazing. But I just can't see that as a normal game for him, or edging towards that 110 average that you're going to need at this stage as an M8.
Yeah, no, I agree. I reckon he probably goes about a 105 or something overall, but...
I don't even think that high. I reckon like once the full complement of mids come in for Pies, then you're looking at probably 100, maybe 95 at the low end, and he's not going to get a forward status because he's playing too much midfield, I don't think. So,
yeah, I agree.
So I just can't... If I can't see that him as a keeper, I'm not going to bring him in when I can get the same cash advantage and then retain the trade. The only thing I really gain is the points, and I'm not sure how much points that is. And like Barry to me, he's just like, the scores he's been flicking up.
Oh, he was killing it. And he turned over. Yeah. He kicked it straight to the opposition like 3 times. 2 were big bombs to no one. And the other one, he kicked it inside 50, not realising that a player could actually run sideways and stand right into the gap of where he was aiming. So, and he kicked it right. It
was a great kick, though.
Oh, everyone's just like, like again? So, mate, thank you for joining us. I'll let you go, mate. You got a flight to catch. I'm going to have a check out teams in a minute, and we'll go from there, hey? We'll catch you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, eh?
All right, mate. Bless you.
Cheers.
Go, Carlton. Shout out, Damo. Boy.